You're listening to the Productive, Not Busy podcast, where we show you how to do life and business confident, focused, and with a plan so that you can make more money. Have more free time and less stress. Your host, Wayne Withersby, will uncover actionable hacks, strategies, tips, and insights you can use today to live a better, more productive life. It's time to boost your mindset, confidence, and your attitude. Here's your host, Coach Wayne.
So, the discomfort zone is our topic. So now we're going to go to the other side of the coin. You can't know what comfort is unless you've been uncomfortable at some point in your life. Without one, the other has no value. The discomfort zone, though, has more purpose than to underscore when things are calm and serene. The discomfort zone is where all the magic happens. Of the two, the discomfort zone is where you'll find the potential for all your goals, dreams, and everything it takes to make them take flight. So what is discomfort? Well, we got to look at that. Uneasiness, worry, pain. Discomfort is defined by a slew of negative emotions, right? Giving the impression that this is something to avoid at all costs. If you doubt this, consider how many medications there are to take away pain or anxiety. How many systems are in place to erase worry from your life? Who in their right mind wants to be made uncomfortable? At the same time, we tend to forget some large truths about discomfort. Pain lets us know when something is wrong in our body so we can fix it. Worry shows us when we need to care and moving forward with a plan. Uneasiness is an instinct that alerts us when something is off about a situation. Instead of thinking of discomfort as the enemy, what if we consider it to be a signal? Alerting, right, our radar, alerting us when there's something that needs to change. Think of discomfort as an indicator pointing at an opportunity to grow. It's an open invitation to change your life by forcing you out of your comfort zone and into something much bigger. Think of the discomfort zone as being ushered into life's classroom. There you go. Will the lessons be hard? Sometimes, yeah. But the outcome speaks for itself, right? Keep listening. You'll see where I'm going with this. How can discomfort propel us towards our goals, right? People say that. Well, think for a moment about the greatest accomplishments in your life. Chances are it doesn't take much scrutiny to see where discomfort had some hand in the outcome of some sort. Even the birth of a baby requires a certain degree of pain, right? But ask the woman who struggled for years to have a child if the pain was worth it. What do you think she'd say? Freaking hell yeah. Discomfort at its heart, a hard push away from where you are right the second. It's what drives you towards change. Think about this. Discomfort allows you to see new possibilities. When you've grown stagnant, right, stuck where you're at, discomfort gives you an itchy feeling to wanting something different in life. When you start looking around for what satisfies the itch, you discover new interest and ideas, things in which spark you back to life. Okay? Discomfort helps you discover connections to what you know. It urges you to find solutions when problems arise, tugging, right, at half-formed ideas. Because this problem needs solving, this discomfort arises in the form of a whisper in your head. Ooh, I can do that. I know how to solve this problem. But it took the discomfort to trigger that. At some point, it's not enough to make goals or imagine petty dreams. Right? Discomfort comes in the form of dissatisfaction and constant questioning of, why aren't we doing this yet? It nudges and pushes you and kicks you in the ass until you cannot be satisfied with anything less than trying out your ideas to see if you can make them happen. Discomfort underscores boredom also. A break, even a long vacation is a wonderful thing. At some point, though, discomfort makes even your favorite things kind of like no fun, uninteresting. Discomfort demands you to find something new to do, something which will engage your body and your mind and stimulate you. Discomfort will not be satisfied by anything less, right? It also demands that you be bold. There's no shrinking back into the shadows when discomfort crops up. It challenges you to prove you're up to the challenge. It pulls at you. It forces you to think creatively, be more flexible, throw yourself into the fight. Remember, you want to control and you want to have control of what discomfort brings you. You'll have to take it. Pushes you to your limits. When the comfort zone begins to shrink our world, discomfort demands we take back these things which are being threatened. Those borderline uncomfortable aspects of our lives become something to seize control of. There's some studies out there that have shown that one of the biggest factors in developing dementia is not challenging your mind enough as you grow older. This is why they recommend brain teasers and taking classes and otherwise stimulating your mind, especially as you reach middle age. So imagine what the comfort zone does to your intellect. When you're comfortable, you don't have to think much about things. Everything is very, very routine, and you're never challenged to think creatively for solutions. By this token, the discomfort activates your brain cells, stimulating cognitive thought processes, pushing creativity, and demanding you put your brain to work. All of this is added brain power as you grow older, stimulation. The comfort zone is a very singular view to the world. Discomfort is where you find your thoughts and beliefs and how they're challenged. It pushes you to see the other side of the story and invites you to change your mind about things you always thought were true. Discomfort can be a powerful tool, man. If you have that courage to use it, the best part, once you've deliberately allowed yourself into the comfort zone, you'll find it's not so uncomfortable as you expected. In fact, once you get past the initial shock of leaving your comfort zone, you will settle into pretty quickly and take on the challenge. Humans are freaking incredible at how quickly they can adapt to any given situation. It's how generations of our ancestors got through every crisis from wars to famines to financial distress. Using discomfort to reach our goals and attain the next level of personal growth seems freaking simple by comparison, right? You didn't have to go through a famine. You didn't have to go through a depression. You have a choice, especially when you have a system to harness it. Is it possible to truly become comfortable with being uncomfortable? Hell yeah. That's what we're talking about. I want that guy in my circle or that woman in my circle. I want somebody being comfortable being uncomfortable. Why? Because they perform better under pressure. Consider this. You're given an assignment, right? You're supposed to walk up and introduce yourself to 100 strangers. Initially, it's like, no way, I can't do this. If you're any kind of introvert, especially, the task might even feel impossible. What you may not realize, though, is how long you can expect this comfort to last. The first person you introduce yourself to in this experiment will be the hardest. Absolutely. You might be unsure what to say or how to make eye contact. You have no idea what the other person will say or do in response. But as you keep going on this task, you will find out something interesting. After a handful of people, you'll start relaxing. If the responses you get are pleasant, you might even start enjoying it to where like it doesn't feel uncomfortable at all. And you look forward to finishing. So what does that mean? Discomfort fades over time. The more we challenge ourselves, the easier it gets. This is especially true when you understand how discomfort works and know the steps to manage it. By following this process, you'll learn how to navigate the discomfort zone so easily that steps will become like you can close your eyes. They're habit until you soon manage the discomfort and it goes away. The trick is to choose your battles. You don't have time for all of it. You don't have time, have to make your whole life uncomfortable to create a positive change. In fact, if you ask me, you really shouldn't. So if you're deciding to take and shake up your life, being in the comfort zone for a bit at home or in a relationship will give you something to retreat to the rest and recharge before tackling discomfort again the next day. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to examine your discomfort. Before you can leave your comfort zone, you need to know where you're going. Choosing the area to focus on isn't too hard. You start with paying attention to the things which make you uncomfortable. So look for the signs, right? You're reacting physically to the suggestions of a certain change. If you wince every time someone brings up a hot topic, like going back to school or stepping out of a relationship, you already know you need to change, whether or not you've acknowledged it or not. Also, look for other physical signs connected to this thought, such as an upset stomach, a sudden need for the restroom, or difficulty sleeping because you can't stop thinking about that topic. Some signs are more subtle, right? Such as having a itchy nose when you're talking about a certain subject. Believe it or not, this is an automatic response to stress, where you have increased blood flow to your face. I learned that from an FBI negotiations class. When someone's stressed, their nose itches, which means they're most likely either not telling you the truth or they know something and they're not telling you. Your body language is already screaming, hell no. See, we hold ourselves differently when we feel threatened. We hunch in and sometimes cross our arms in front of us. We might even physically start moving away from the person who suggests this change, as if trying to gain distance from the idea, like you're going to outrun it. If you can't find the words to discuss this or get choked up in the conversation, this is a signal you're definitely uncomfortable with the topic. Or if someone asks you about a subject and your voice starts to go higher and higher and higher, or even talk more rapidly than usual, using lots of gestures, this is a sign something is getting you worked up about that topic. It's definitely time to back up and notice what's going on. Once you've identified some of these areas where the discomfort zone indicates some need to change, ask yourself these questions to narrow your focus down on the specific issue. Which ones need work? What is it that's making you so nervous about the idea of facing this challenge? What aspect of this makes you the most uncomfortable? Right? These questions will help you home in on the root cause of the discomfort. This is important because your approach from here on out will be shaped by what your problem you're trying to solve is. For example, you might think it's the prospect of a long and drawn out job hunt that is making you uncomfortable, when in truth, what you're really uncomfortable about is feeling you don't have the skills to get the job done or that you really want. Once you think you've nailed down your discomfort, it's time to move on to the next step. Right? I do a phone training class, and that's what I tell people when we have to start making phone calls. People say, "Oh, I don't like the phone. I don't like making calls." Well, they're not scared of making the calls. They're scared someone's going to pick up on the other end. That's what they're scared of because they're not prepared to handle that part of it. Okay. So I want you to reflect on discomfort. There's no quick and easy way to go through this step. Sorry. You'll have to take the time to do it. So give yourself an hour or two and sit back and enjoy what you're about to discover about yourself. I'm telling you, it's interesting. Reflection is such a positive exercise. You finally have the time to sit down and look at your emotions and examine not just what you're feeling, but why you're feeling that way. The biggest key to getting through this step is honesty. So be prepared to be truthful, brutally truthful, as you step into that journey. You start by creating the right space for understanding yourself. Choose a place conducive to calm, quiet, without interruptions, and free of distractions and noise. You might want to play soft music or something. I don't know. If it helps you keep calm and centered, do it. Or you can use noise canceling headphones. I do that sometimes to block out the world if needed. That's amazing. Next, you'll have to choose the best method for reflecting. For some, I don't know. This involves journaling, right? Writing your ideas down, write your thoughts down. For those, it's more of a matter of sitting with your thoughts and examining each critically, right, to see where it goes. Do whatever works best for you. Now, once you're ready, it's time to concentrate on the very important questions. Why are you ready to step out of this comfort zone? It's important to begin here, so don't skip it. Why are you ready to step out of your comfort zone? This will help you frame your goal and underscore your desire to change. This is all about affirming your decision to move into the discomfort zone, and will give you an answer you're going to come back to anytime you feel like discouraged or broken down about your journey. Next, you want to write, how has your comfort zone held you back? This really can be answered in two ways. By asking, in general, how your comfort zone has kept you from moving forward, you underscore the need for change. This is confirmation that you can't stay where you are anymore. It just wasn't good for you. But if you can also answer this regarding the challenges you're attempting, you'll discover the roadblocks that have held you back so far. Why have you been in this position of being held back? For how long? What made it easier to stay where you were than move forward? What emotion or pain is at the heart of holding you back? See, unfortunately, you won't change a thing unless you first dismantle it. You got to take it apart, examine it, look at it. You want to spend some time reflecting and writing about the topic, so to free yourself of those feelings, right? And kind of cleanse yourself. If this doesn't work, or you're truly having a trouble letting go of the things holding you back, try talking things over with a close friend, or find somebody, a mentor, or a family member who can help you guide, through some of the feelings. It's not always good to try to do it by yourself. If things seem really difficult, don't hesitate to seek help from someone who's trained in dealing with like the trauma, or a counselor or medical professional. It's that important. So, what's motivating you to move forward right now? This is really important. Here's where you seize the change and make it your own. I want you to say these words out loud. I am moving forward right now because, and fill in the blank. Make this your battle cry. I am moving forward right now because. What is your because? Right? A lot of people say they need their why. Here's my why. Well, great, you have a why, but you need a because to go along with that why. Right? Make this your battle cry. Make it an affirmation, but take action on it, or motto, because this is your reason for making yourself uncomfortable in the first place. Where do you see yourself? When you reach this step, you're done looking at the past instead of focusing on your attention on the future, right? When you do this, you're done looking in the back, and instead you're looking forward, right? They say the windshield's bigger than your rearview mirror for a reason, right? You just need a small glimpse back to see where you've been, but you need all of the windshield to see where all you can go. In order to succeed against a challenge such as facing the discomfort zone, you need more than a reason why you're doing this. You need to see yourself succeeding. There's a lot of power in this step, so it's absolutely crucial that you don't skip it. Visualization is one of those things that has gained much traction in the recent years. Numerous studies have shown it. It's incredibly effective as a tool for creating positive change. Right? We used to have vision boards. Why do what we call touch boards or touch experiences? See, if I want to own a fancy sports car, right? I want to own a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Well, I could cut a picture out of a magazine and put it on my wall. That's all right, because then I see it every day. But what if I went to the dealership and sat in it and smelled it and drove it and started it and listened to it? Maybe took it around the block. Studies show that absolutely skyrockets the opportunity and the likelihood of that happening. So what does that mean for you? Quite simply, the more you can visualize and touch your future, in detail, the more likely you'll attain it. So for this step, you start with imagining two different futures. Okay. The first is the future you will have in 5 years if you do nothing. What would really happen to you if you stayed in your comfort zone, in your box right this second without a single change? What kind of life will you be leading? What type of job will you have? What friends will still be in your life and what role will they play? Okay. Chances are this doesn't quite look like the future you really want, does it? Well, if not, here's your chance to change your life. It's time to visualize the life you do want to have. Keep in mind now, this is the life you can only attain if you step out and take the magical first step, right? I'm going to put a program called The Power of the First Step. So for this future, you'll want to visualize your best shot. You're not just using this vision to prove a point, though you will prove a point if you accomplish it. This is about crafting a blueprint for the future. You'll want to visit this visualization repeatedly as a reminder of where you're going to go and what kind of person you'll be when you get there. This is literally the stuff dreams are made of. So you ready to get started? Begin with the area you're addressing right now. What discomfort are you facing? What change does this discomfort represent? Now, using the answers of the questions in this last step, answer this question. What is it that I no longer want to be doing in my life? And you can hold this by going through all the ways your comfort zone has been holding you back in this regard. These are the things that you will no longer allow to dictate your life. Now, take on the second question. What is it I want instead? Now, the answer here is found in the change you want to create. Ask yourself what you will look like in 5 years if you make this change right this second. Picture your life. Close your eyes. Imagine every detail you can, from the kinds of friends that you have. You'll have all the way down to the very last detail of how you'll spend your day, how you'll do your job, what relationships you'll have, and family will all be affected by your change. How will each of these things look? If you're having trouble visualizing 5 years, choose something simpler. How would you How would your life look next year or next month or next week? You're probably going to have to use your imagination now, okay? In some cases, you might even have to make some guesses about how things will turn out. But remember, visualization isn't exact. It's about what you want, not how things will actually be. So feel free to fill in the gaps with the best case scenario that you can create. Nothing wrong with that. Now spend some time with this vision. If you give yourself inspiration, you can see by creating a vision board and a touch board, or write about what your visualization, write it down, write it in a journal. After all, you will want to revisit the concept over and over and over, especially as you work through the next steps. You might even want to make this visualization part of your daily routine by adding, little things here and there, like when you meditate, just as a reminder about all the great changes you're about to experience. Okay. Then we got to prepare. Dreams are great. There comes a time when you will have to put everything into action. You know why you're embracing discomfort and even have a path that has clarified where you're going. The key here is movement. You're never going to get anywhere at all if you don't set your feet in motion and do the work. Don't worry just yet. You're not going to be thrown into the pool's deep end and be expected to swim, okay? In this step, you're going to create a game plan. You're going to spend some time preparing. You want to make intentional choices with every action. This kind of preparation will take you right where you need to go. Probably even know where to start. Your examination of your discomfort zone has already highlighted the areas where you don't feel confident. Use this as a guide to prepare your way. Start with a list. What are the logical steps as you move into the discomfort zone? You don't need to know all of them, but make a note of where you're going, not what you're lacking. Are you short on materials, knowledge, ideas? This is the time to gather your resources so you're ready to begin. What you don't know, find out. Sign up for a class or find a book or a tutorial online to guide you if you're shaky on the particular next steps. If you're lacking ideas, talk to people who have accomplished similar goals and see what advice they can give you. A mentor might even be a good idea at this point. They're going to steer toward what you want most. You can gather your materials, like I said. Here's where you take the list you just made and use it to guide you on your next steps. Take the classes, prepare your workspace, read books, watch videos, make a list. Once you feel confident, prepare to move out of your prepare to move out of your comfort zone and into a whole new world of possibilities. Biggest piece of advice for me is to start small. From the previous step, you know now what to do. If you're still feeling discomfort, the most likely cause here comes from not having put your skills to the test. If so, this is completely normal. Absolutely. It's not one thing to learn how to do something new, but sometimes it's just quite another to put this knowledge to the test. The good news, preparation has already assured you to an outcome that will be a positive experience. Now, not being prepared, game on, who knows? But preparation has already assured you that an outcome will be a positive experience. Doesn't mean you're going to be an automatic success. It does mean you have a solid chance to do well because you put the intentional thought into the process and you took the magical first step. The best part, even if you don't succeed in the first step, you'll learn something useful for trying. This is in my mind, there's nothing holding you back now, right? Failures are the scars on success. Before you jump in, though, you're going to want to think about the size of your first step. This initial attempt to move into the discomfort zone should be small. Should be small in nature and so you can get used to the idea of doing things in a new way. This will also help you very quickly build up self-assurance. Small victories are still triumphs and they're worth celebrating. Having a handful of success stories right at the start will do wonders for a positive mental attitude. Right? You don't go into the gym, try to bench press 400 pounds. You work your way into it. So what's the key? Keep trying. Small steps should happen, one right after another, practicing moving into the discomfort zone daily until it becomes a habit to challenge yourself. Why? Small victories coupled with frequent attempts will help the discomfort not be so uncomfortable. If you're consistent now, and in a very short amount of time, you'll discover that what used to be discomfort has turned into another comfort zone, just bigger and better. You're expanding your operations, and it all starts by starting small. Now I want you to commit. Finally, the last step is to commit to the process. You're going to have to revisit these steps repeatedly every time you push yourself in a new direction. Now, it might seem daunting until you realize you've already been doing these things automatically anyway. This is why it's so important to move through the process on a regular basis. By making challenges to the comfort zone, you really won't have to put a lot of thought into what you're doing unless you're particularly stuck in some way because you're going to keep going, right? To succeed in life, you can't just confront the discomfort zone once or even twice. Remember, a comfort zone is a great place to recharge, but sooner or later, you want to venture out again, stretching the boundaries as far as you can to make them go. How else will you ever reach your full potential? This is the key, though, isn't it? You want to reach your full potential in life. You want to succeed beyond your wildest imagination and live the life you deserve. This all starts here by stepping willingly into the discomfort zone and seeing where it takes you. So we're going to end this up here. Imagine what your life would look like if you could teach yourself to enjoy a little discomfort now and then. No. No one wants to live in the discomfort zone 24/7. It'd become too stressful and you'd freaking burn out in a second. We really do need downtime now and again. Making the comfort zone not just a good idea, but necessary for good mental health. It's like a pit stop. But consider looking at time spent in the discomfort zone as a challenge, something to conquer, a place where you'll become your best self. After all, it's all things.
You've been listening to the Productive, Not Busy podcast. Please hit the subscribe and notification of new episodes button and visit us on social media like Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok for bonus content.